Hi there, and welcome back to Mondays with Mike. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Iskovitz of Fox 26. Thanks for joining us here on Fox Local or YouTube or wherever you happen to be watching this. Um, that's the weather office back there. I just realized the way I had the camera pointing, you can see right back into our office, which JD was back there a moment ago. You might see him walk by. But we got a couple of things to talk about today, mostly two. One is the severe weather threat that we're going to have here across southeast Texas coming up for tomorrow. And the second is going to be the developments in the tropics. And so we have a November storm that could be forming. I'm going to move this to give them some privacy. We have a November storm that's forming in the Caribbean Sea. So we'll talk in a moment about how rare or unusual that might not be, or that may or may not be. And then, of course, big line of thunderstorms coming our way for tomorrow. In other news, before we get to the forecast, which, by the way, includes very windy conditions out there today, a wind advisory is in effect for us, I think, through 6 p.m., if I just saw correctly. Those winds are going to be just howling out of the south today, gusting above 40 miles per hour for Houston, for Brenham, for Huntsville, and for Galveston, really north, south, east, and west. Very, very windy for the day today, and all that's tied in with the storm system that's heading our way for tomorrow morning, which is why we have a Fox 26 storm alert day put in for tomorrow. But we'll get to all of that here, take a look at everything in much more detail. Before we get to that, let's see, a little bit of football news. Of course, the Texans played on Thursday, so we didn't get a chance to see them. The University of Houston had a great weekend, beating a ranked team. We also had the Aggies lost, which was not good. My favorite player, of course, as you know, Jameis Winston, started for the Browns, did not play well. 3 interceptions. That wasn't good. So anyway, there goes comeback player of the year for Jameis. Let's get to the forecast here. I'm going to start out talking about the development in the Caribbean Sea. Is it coming our way? So here we are over at one of our big weather monitors over here in the Weather Center to talk about what could be Raphael. Depending on what time you're watching this, might be Raphael already. So what are we talking about here? Well, potential tropical cyclone 18 was located over here, was upgraded to tropical depression number 18. So that makes it the 18th depression of the year, on our way toward the R storm of the year. So it actually has turned out to be a really, really busy season. Fortunately, we haven't run out of names in this year's list, which of course stops at W. But we are getting there. We're getting close, right? So let me give you the latest on this system that, depending on when you're watching it, could be Raphael. Here's a close-up view of the high-resolution visible satellite imagery. You could see they're kind of bubbling up right now as we head toward around the early afternoon hours today. It's really been pumping up some of that humidity from the surface up into the clouds, and looks like it's starting to strengthen. And the National Hurricane Center, like I said, has dubbed this now a tropical depression, meaning that it has a closed circulation and it has winds of at least 35 miles per hour. Just give you another view of what we're looking at here. This is Jamaica. There's Cuba. Here's the island of Hispaniola and Central America, of course. And in between the two, we do have warm water. It's about 85 degrees. So the water is sufficiently warm out there to generate a hurricane. Once it does get closer to the Gulf, though, things will probably change. The thing is, look, we're all very sick of this hurricane season. We've had a lot of Gulf Coast landfalls, and this one could technically turn out to be another one. It's going to be a close call. So this is the latest forecast that we have for you from the Hurricane Center, and they are showing it becoming a hurricane. Keep in mind, though, that the difference between a strong tropical storm and a weak hurricane just comes down to 5 miles an hour. I mean, and they're always rounded to 5, by the way. They're never going to say that the winds are 73 miles per hour. It's either 70 or 75. So once it gets up past 75 or higher, then it'll get upgraded to a hurricane. So strong tropical storm at 70 miles per hour or weak hurricane is not that much different, really, in the grand scheme of things. This is the forecast heading into Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, showing the system, Raphael is what it would be named, moving into the Gulf of Mexico. And so if this were August or September, we'd be really, really concerned about this thing because the atmospheric conditions are different then. You have warmer air, you have more widespread humidity, you have upper level steering currents that would be more favorable, pushing this thing in our direction. But as it stands right now in November, that's really not generally the case, especially considering by the time we get here to this weekend on Saturday, I mean, we're talking about entering the second week of November, which would be unheard of to have a storm hit Texas. It just hasn't happened in recorded history. Extremely, extremely unlikely. Now, does it pose somewhat of a threat to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama? It looks like it, but I think that by the time it gets here, it's going to start to pull in some cooler, drier air. We'll probably start to weaken, which is why the Hurricane Center has it going, let's say, from 80 miles an hour down to 65. And that may get adjusted later today as well. So I want to share a couple of things with you. This is our exclusive Fox model, and it's picking up on a path kind of similar to what the Hurricane Center is showing us, with the center of circulation right there by Jamaica coming up over the next early part of this afternoon, and then extending this now through later on this week. We're now into Thursday morning, just before 11 a.m. Here we are in H-Town and in Galveston. And the center of circulation of this thing looks like it could be representing a strong tropical storm, maybe even a hurricane. Where does it go beyond that? Well, here's where it starts to get most likely affected by some harsher upper level winds, maybe a little bit cooler air, a little bit drier air coming in that should weaken it a bit. And right now, the Fox model, looking ahead at 10 a.m. on Friday, is showing it staying over here to the south of Pensacola. Pretty far away from us, obviously. Now, even if it did creep a little bit closer to our direction, you have this front coming in that should push it away. So that's why we really don't get hurricane strikes in our area this time of the year. I mean, for the most part, you get a steering current that pushes these things away. Now, let's just consult another model. It's always good to do that. These are all just never going to be 100% correct. Here's the GFS model, which is showing the center of circulation moving inland right now, actually making landfall, I should say, not right now, but on Saturday, around Mobile, Alabama. Again, keeping it very far from our area. So unlike the Fox model, which showed it still a little bit off toward the east, this one takes it slightly closer to Louisiana, but still very much in line with what the Fox model was showing us at keeping this thing very far away from us because of the steering currents that are kicking in. So that's the latest with this storm. It's likely to become our next tropical storm, likely to become the next hurricane, not going to make it to Texas, but is going to be one of the major things that we're going to be talking about in the world of weather for this week. And by the way, recent November hurricanes to make landfall on record, 2022, so just 2 years ago, Hurricane Nicole hit the east coast of Florida in November. And it was 4 years ago that was the year in 2020 that we had a crazy number of storms and we went well into the Greek alphabet. Well, one of those Greek names, Eta, E-T-A, Eta, made landfall in Florida as a strong tropical storm in the month of November. This one could potentially resemble that one, maybe as a weaker tropical storm. All right, let's move on now to voting weather and severe weather possible across the state of Texas and elsewhere. All right, so let's talk now about severe weather, rainy weather, any weather that could be affecting Election Day, and in the meantime, also weather that's going to be affecting your day today as we get set up for tomorrow. First thing I want to show you is a look ahead at tomorrow. So this is the outlook actually across the country for Election Day tomorrow, where, and we'll talk about this in more detail here in just a minute, we are looking for storms tomorrow. In fact, a Fox 26 storm alert day. The storms will have moved through Dallas. In fact, most of Texas actually is going to have some pretty decent weather tomorrow. Still going to be a lot of sort of leftover from some thunderstorms and wet roads and so forth, but Austin and San Antonio in the 70s, Dallas in the 60s tomorrow. Pretty rainy if you happen to be traveling over to Louisiana tomorrow. As far as Florida is concerned, of course, they're going to be closely watching that tropical system that I just pointed out to you, Raphael, what's likely to become Raphael. High temperatures there should be in the 80s. Battleground state there, Georgia, 78 degrees with some scattered showers. The battleground North Carolina, western parts of the state seeing some rain. High temperature around 80 degrees. The Northeast is actually looking on the pleasant side, about 71 for New York City. This is going to be the most active weather across the country, really, as far as thunderstorm threats and the threat for heavy rain and things like that. So we are talking about Minnesota, with Minneapolis getting a high of 45 and rainy for tomorrow. Pretty rainy and windy across Wisconsin and across Michigan as well. About 67 in Chicago. Some snow in the mountains out west, and really pretty nice brisk weather there, about 54 for a high in Denver. And then out in the western United States, look, I mean, not bad at all. Las Vegas, about 70 degrees, and about 75 in Phoenix. For the rest of the day today, if you're watching this here on Monday, we're under a wind advisory. And a wind advisory lets you know that there's going to be, potential for things like trash cans to get blown over, sometimes even, lawn furniture and things like that. Anything that's not tied down will have 40-mile-an-hour winds possibly knocking them over. So the deal is, most of our area today is under a wind advisory, and this is through 6 p.m. today on this Monday, the 4th, and the winds are going to be coming in from the south and southeast about 20 to 25 miles per hour, gusting above 35. In fact, we've seen briefly gusts well above 40. The gust is the instantaneous wind speed, like a burst of wind. And then the wind speed is an average wind speed taken over 1 minute typically. This is a look ahead at severe weather threat for the next 24 hours. This is today, this is tonight, and this takes us through very early on Tuesday morning. You'll see here this very large orange area of a 3 out of 5 risk there on our severe weather potential from the Storm Prediction Center. That does include Dallas-Fort Worth, and that highest likelihood is going to occur tonight up there. It also includes much of Oklahoma and heading over into parts of Arkansas. And then the yellow area, which is considered a slight risk, but it still is a pretty sizable risk, comes down as far south as Austin and back over here just off to the west of Katy and to the north of Conroe. So we will have a chance for seeing, most likely tomorrow morning, a chance for some tough thunderstorms around here. That's mostly going to be wind and maybe some hail, and obviously a lot of lightning too, and brief heavy rain. Tornado threat is not zero, but it's mostly to our north. So the highest chance for seeing an isolated tornado or two would be off to the north. Notice here how this line is expected to form, and that's what we're going to be looking at for around midnight tonight or so. And then by 5, 6, 7 o'clock heading into Tuesday morning, Election Day morning, that's when things should really be kind of rocking and rolling around here. As far as what to expect for the next day, on Wednesday, a very slight chance for shower thunderstorm remaining here, or I should say late in the day on Tuesday and heading into Wednesday. Once that initial line comes through, we'll just have a chance for some isolated showers and storms, and then most of that action will have moved off toward the east. So we're going to go through that one nasty time period, and then everything should be looking okay after that. Everything is just being funneled in our direction right now. We have this big area of low pressure that's over New Mexico, and then we have higher pressure there over Florida, and just this is like right up the alley, right in between the two, which is why those thunderstorms that I just showed you, back this up, which is why all of this runs from here toward there. Okay, it kind of runs from Texas all the way up to the Midwest, and it's based on this. So that's sort of the mechanism that's causing all of this, and why a big portion of the country, from Texas all the way up to Michigan, we're going to see a little bit of ugly weather coming up for Election Day. Closer look at what's happening here. Again, we have sort of this clash of the air masses going on with this area of low pressure pulling down cold air. For example, this morning it was in the 40s in El Paso and it was in the 80s in Corpus Christi. So you get that big clash. My tie is going crazy here. You get that clash of temperatures that represents a cold front. And when you have a really strong jet stream blowing over on top of that, that kind of sets the stage for seeing some of the severe thunderstorms that we expect to see. So let's take a look at the extended forecast and what to expect for the rest of this week, and then some other thoughts. All right, so now moving on to the specifics of your forecast here over the next couple of days, because it's going to affect all of us, okay? We're looking at, first of all, okay, so today, in addition to the fact that it's windy, extremely muggy. I mean, it's almost like you can't believe that it's November with as muggy as it is out there. And obviously all that humidity is going to help set the stage for the stormy weather that we expect coming in here Tuesday morning and tonight. Middle 80s, some upper 80s actually for high temperatures out there for the day today. And, if you're going to be picking up the kids after school, you got soccer practice or baseball practice or anything like that, count on seeing some passing downpours or at least showers through this evening. All right, here comes a front coming in from the west. This is 2:30 on Tuesday morning as the storms get ready to move on in, and this one will really mean business. Now, the timing might be a little fast or slow, so I have it paused here at 7 a.m., which is, by the way, when the polls open, but just know it could come in a little bit earlier or a little bit later than that. So sometime, give or take 4 or 5 o'clock through about 8 or 9 o'clock, we are looking for those pretty substantial chances for rain with a little bit of hail even mixed in, a lot of lightning. By the afternoon, it starts to improve. We'll get a light north breeze kicking in. It will be cooler. So today is going to be super humid and high temperatures, maybe 86, 87, maybe 88 in a couple spots. Tomorrow in the afternoon, probably about 15 to 20 degrees cooler. So that sounds pretty good to me. I don't know about you. So that's the way things are shaping up there for Tuesday. And then beyond that, here heading into Wednesday, should see some sunshine returning, a low in the 50s and low 60s, and then a high of about 80. Heading into Thursday and Friday, this is the time period where that tropical storm or hurricane is going to be out in the Gulf of Mexico, and we're going to look for a front here, which is why we have this rain chance around this time frame, late Thursday into Friday, early Saturday. There should be a front that comes through. It doesn't look like it's going to be a big rainmaker for us, but it may be just enough. It's going to be just enough to push that tropical system away from us. Notice no temperature extremes coming up anytime soon. It's really not going to get that cold. It's not going to get very warm. Actually looks really pleasant once we get past tomorrow. Tomorrow, the one good thing is that we're looking for a high temperature of about 72, and most likely temperatures falling into the 60s for a big chunk of the day, maybe even the low 60s by sunset. Hey, I snuck into a part of the station here where I don't think I'm supposed to be. But, who's going to tell on me, right? I was walking around. This is after I just recorded my forecast that I just showed you. And I needed a change of scenery. The newsroom is obviously very busy today, and I've been extremely busy today. John Dawson is back there getting ready for our Forecasting with Friends show that we have to go do very shortly, which, by the way, airs at 11 a.m. This airs at 1 p.m. You can find both of them under the weather tab here at Fox Local. But anyway, so it was just like too much. I was looking for a change of pace to just wrap up talking to you guys. And I said, I was walking around with my light because I have a tripod and a light here. And I said, well, where can I go? So I started kind of wandering around the station. Ruben Dominguez was giving a tour and a interview. He was interviewing somebody and giving the interviewee a tour. And he said, oh, do you need to come in here? And I'm like, no. I'm wandering around the station looking for an interesting place to go. So the place I'm at right now, I can't tell you about. But I can tell you that you will see it soon and that it's really, really cool. There's a lot going on in the hopper because at Fox 26, we're really, through the vision of our leaders, trying to reach everybody where they are. You have to go to where the people are. And the truth is that the people are not sitting in front of their TV in their living room. Well, some are, but a lot of people are not sitting down, in their living room in front of a TV with cable TV anymore. A lot of things are online. We're trying to reach out to the younger folks. And, a lot of that stuff is via social media and through online platforms now, which is why we have a lot, like I said, a lot of stuff in the hopper, including this room that I can't show you, but it's going to be used for a lot of things in that regard. So anyway, until they kick me out, I'm going to hang out in here for a little while. Although I would like to find the thermostat and turn it down a little bit. So look, it's going to be a big week. Obviously, it's going to be a big news week. As far as weather goes, it's going to be an interesting weather week because we have the tropical system we're going to be watching, and we have, the chance for some severe weather briefly around here. I hope that everybody makes it through okay. This can be obviously a very nerve, rattling kind of time. Without going into anything, I think all of us feels that way a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But I think everything's going to be fine. I think everything's going to be okay. Want to give, of course, shout out to my brother and my mom down in Florida, South Florida. I'm hoping to visit down there soon. But I don't want, I want to bring the kids and all that stuff. So anyway, we'll be down there soon. And that's about it. So look, I hope everybody's doing well out there. Bottom line is, hold on to your hat today. Hold on to your hat tomorrow morning. Don't wear nice shoes to the polls tomorrow morning. And just take care of, who used to say that? Take care of yourselves and each other. I don't know, somebody used to say that. But anyway, hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching Mondays with Mike. A reminder that this airs each Monday at 1 p.m. here on Fox Local. If you're watching Fox Local on your smart TV, remember that unlike what my Ballad of Fox Local song used to say, it is available for your smartphone now. So it's an app for your smartphone and your smart TV. It's the same. So you could take your content, take our content with you when you're not at home. And also, we have a daily weather forecasting show that I have to go run and do in 3 minutes. A daily show called Forecasting with Friends that airs at 11 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm going to go run over and do it right now. Have a great day, everybody.